NBA trade deadline is approaching. A lot of teams are going to be getting rid of players, and a lot of teams are going to be adding players. Some teams that are going to need to be adding players are the New Orleans Pelicans. They have a franchise player in Zion Williamson, and they need to surround him with talent because it is clear that what they have right now is not good enough. A team that needs to get rid of some players and start a full-on rebuild by gaining draft picks and young talent is the Sacramento Kings. So what trade do I have in store between the Sacramento Kings and the New Orleans Pelicans? I have a trade that sends De'Aaron Fox to the Pelicans. I think this trade works for both sides. It is clear that Tyrese Halliburton is going to be the guy over De'Aaron Fox. I like Fox a lot. I think he could still be good in Sacramento if they keep him, but I think it's better for him to go to New Orleans. New Orleans is his hometown. He was born in that city, and I just think it's a better fit. I can see De'Aaron Fox, and Zion Williamson as such a really good combination, along with Brandon Ingram as your shot creator. And it's just kind of an upgraded version of what Lonzo Ball was, a more aggressive version of what Lonzo Ball was when he was there. And I just think the athleticism that De'Aaron Fox has paired with Zion Williams' athleticism is going to be an elite combination. And for the Sacramento Kings, you're going to just go with Tyrese Halliburton and look to build young players. They kind of missed on the Marvin Bagley pick. He's not what you wanted him to turn out to be. So start looking at it. So here's the package that I have. I am sending De'Aaron Fox, Damian Jones, and Robert Wood to the Pelicans. I'm just sending players. I'm sending Josh Hart, Devontae Graham, Curlius Jr., and either Herb Jones or Trey Murphy to the Pelicans' younger players. Trey Murphy is the weaker of the two, so if they can, that'd be like what I'd offer first, and then I have Herb Jones as well. And I'm sending a 2023 first round lottery protected pick or top 10, something like this. I'm predicting the lottery just because I think that the Pelicans are going to make the playoffs. So this way it'll go back to them. This way it'll go and be the Kings pick like it should be because the Kings are giving up a lot here. But the Pelicans are at the stage in their development where you have all these young players. You have Zion, you have Brandon Ingram. You moved on from Lonzo Ball. You see that some other guys aren't as good as you thought they'd be. You're starting to see what you need. You know what you have. You know what you don't have. What they don't have is an elite point guard. Devontae Graham is not what they want him to be. They want him to be a lot better than he is, and that's fine. But what you got to do is you got to go and make the adjustments. If you want to become a championship team, you're going to need to upgrade. Personally, I think they should move on for Jonas Valanciunas as well. I think Valanciunas is a very good big, but I just don't think he fits what the Pelicans are going to try to do once they get Zion back, and I think that's going to kind of get rid of his role. But in the time period where Zion hasn't been there, Valanciunas has been helpful. But he's another player that they have to move in possibly in this trade or another trade because I think they got a lot of work to do. I think they have good pieces and talented players, but I think there are situations kind of like the Lakers where they just don't have the right roster. These guys do not fit together. You got a shot creator in Brandon Ingram, and you got a just dominant player in Zion Williamson. And I think that's a good start because they can run two-man games. They can run pick and roll real well, but you need a point guard to tie everything together, and you're going to need just a spot-up shooter, and you need another good hustle big. I think they have that in Herbert Jones. He's a good hustle big. He's shown great displays of effort and energy off the bench and once they moved in the starting lineup, but they don't really have any shooters. They lack three-point shooting, in my opinion, watching them play, and they have some good pieces off the bench. They have Nikolai Alexander-Walker, who's another pretty good young player, but they're really missing that elite level talent that can just the third guy on their team because they're going to be in situations a lot. Brandon Ingram and especially Zion have shown issues with injury and staying healthy. So De'Aaron Fox, who's probably I'd say he's been more has had better luck in just overall health than those two in his career, and I think that helped a lot. Just him being his availability. Availability is always the best availability, but you need a guy that if when Zion's out can take over, when Ingram's out can step up. They don't have that now, and that's why they're struggling. This team should be a playoff team this year, but as of right now they're not. So they need to go and make a move. Like I said, they've got so many picks. They've got Milwaukee future picks from the Drew Holiday trade. Still have Laker picks from the Anthony Davis trade. Like they're in the situation where you gotta go and make a move. You have the pieces, and especially with those picks because they're not gonna be top picks. You can trade 3 picks that are gonna be in the 20s to 30s because they're the Bucks and because they're the Lakers, and be fine with it to go get De'Aaron Fox if you have to. Like if they don't want as many young players, like yeah, we don't really care about what you have. We want to go draft guys. Here's some first round picks. We don't care because we know we feel like, or here's our first round pick because we're gonna be a good team in the future. As far as the Kings go, they're looking at the situation where you got to blow everything up. They've got some young players, but you've got Davion Mitchell's been good. Tyrese Halliburton has been really good. and you've just got a crowded backcourt. So what you got to do, you got to move on. De'Aaron Fox is the oldest guy there. He's the guy you gave a lot of money, so you get rid of him and save up some cap space. He's on a 5-year contract, $28.1 million per year. That's a lot of money for a guy. So New Orleans is going to be putting themselves in some interesting cap situation because they're going to have to pay Zion eventually. He's still on his rookie deal, but they got to go out and try to win now because it's a lot easier to pay a guy that's already on your roster than to go add guys in free agency when you don't have cap space. So you bring in a guy like De'Aaron Fox, and you become I'd say, a lot better team. I don't think anyone would argue that the Pelicans aren't going to be a better team if they go out and make this move. I'd like to think that this is a good move for the Kings. It's a step in the right direction in terms of their rebuild, just getting picks and clearing up space for your young guys to play. They got to look towards finding an elite big, and maybe they can do that in this year's draft and get someone like Paolo Banchero, and how the lottery goes and how the rest of the season goes. But they're definitely missing an elite big, and they're definitely not going to get Zion and trade with the Pelicans. But that's definitely the type of player they need. Everybody needs a Zion. But they're going to be looking for a big, and having De'Aaron Fox, who's never played with an elite big in his career, play with Zion Williamson, I think would be very entertaining to watch, and it's something that I hope we get to see in the future. I think the Pelicans need to make this move, and I think it's pretty possible that it could happen. I think the Kings are going to look to move on from De'Aaron Fox, and I think if De'Aaron Fox gets any say and any sort of respect from the Kings, New Orleans is where he's going to want to go because he's from that area. He's from Louisiana, and he played Kentucky. He played high school or college ball at Kentucky, which is fairly close. It's not LSU, but it's fairly close. And that's obviously everyone's going to go to Kentucky for player development. But I think it's a good move. I think De'Aaron, he tweeted something related to just defending the city of New Orleans. And I think it'd be cool if they can bring him home. I think it'd be a good fit for both parties involved. And I think this could be a potential win-win trade for both teams here. That's what teams like to look for in trades. So I could really see this happening and hope it does.